My reasoning for being so sure about that was that UPS cannot afford to be offline because FedEx will take all their business. And so they're going to do a deal. That's what I said.
Yep.
And you had other information about it.
Yeah.
And you said what?
I said that if they were to go on strike, I thought that it would be very, very brief, and that their fund, each major union like that has a fund that is set aside, essentially a rainy day fund, to pay their members, because unions would lose all power if in striking they hurt their actual members. So I said, I think you've got enough money set aside for about 3 months, I believe is what I saw in the news. And so I assured her that I think you're going to be fine. I don't think it'll go anywhere near that long. And then I said, it's like the people in the news that try to scare us about the federal debt ceiling. And I don't care if it's Republicans in power or Dems in power. Every time this happens, they always get together at the last minute and keep raising the debt.
Down.
Yeah,
No, you're not.
They're never going to do that. So
not.
Don't be scared. There's no reason to be scared. And by the way, it settled yesterday.
Boy that cried wolf. Yeah. But you're right. UPS settled yesterday, and the reason we bring this up is we were both right.
That's right. It's rare. We've both been married a long time, so folks, we needed a moment to gloat.
We get to do it here on the air, but maybe not at home.
Not at home at all.
We were right.
Yeah.
We were right.
That's right.
We were right. Yeah. So there's a lot of basic common sense observation that leads to that. But yeah, absolutely. All right. Victoria is starting today off in Colorado Springs. Hi, Victoria. How are you?
Hi, great. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking my call, Dave
Sure.
and Ken.
What's up?
I just had a question. My husband and I are 32 and 31. We have 4 young kids with a 5th on the way. We became debt-free thanks to your teaching 4 years ago. And I'm wondering how you recommend we talk to my in-laws about their plans for retirement.
How long have you been married?
So we've been married 10 years. And I know as a daughter-in-law, that's not my husband's going to take the lead on that.
No, he's going to do it. He's not going to take the lead on it. You're not saying a word.
Okay.
Not if you want this to go well. I mean.
No. I'm just making this call on behalf of him. He's at work right now.
Okay. All right. And why is he concerned about their retirement?
So they're both 60. It's my husband's mom and his stepdad. Mm-hmm. They've always struggled financially and have nothing saved for retirement. And at this point, we're concerned that we're the backup plan.
Why are you the backup plan?
There have been some red flags over the years. My mother-in-law choosing not to work for a year because she felt she deserved a break, so she was living on unemployment.
No, but why does that make you the backup plan?
So my husband is better off than his siblings.
But why does that make you the backup plan?
We're afraid that we are, so we need to talk.
But why?
About that
what we're getting at is, have they said to you all? Have they intimated or come right out and said, "Hey, we're planning to live with you guys"? Or is this just a fear?
No, there's just a general sense of entitlement there. And
might I suggest that your husband feels obligated, that you guys think you're the backup plan because he is planning to do it if they don't get it figured out, and that's an unnecessary obligation? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You don't like that your mother-in-law's lazy and you don't want to take care of her.
Yeah, that's a concern.
Yeah. Okay. I got that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I think for sure, if anybody talks to him at all, it needs to be him, but he needs to have a real clear idea of what his goal is with his conversation. If he thinks one conversation is going to cause them to suddenly become diligent savers, I think that conversation is going to fail. If he's just trying to discover where they stand so he can decide and you can decide at what level you want to participate in their help later, then you probably could get that going. Or if he wants to establish a boundary, he could probably get that done and say, Mom and Dad, just want y'all to know we're not your backup plan. And you can say that a lot of different ways, but he can deliver that message. That's an okay conversation that could be successful moderately. Probably not going to work real well, but you could try it. And at least that's something a single conversation could accomplish. Is just letting them know, we will be your cheerleaders, and I'll coach you and help you on handling your money, but we're not going to be the ones taking care of you. So we need to go ahead and establish that. And given that, how can I help you guys, or would you let me help you with some input and, help you dial in your plan a little bit and, just be of assistance. But they're not asking for help of any kind. They're not asking for instruction, and they're not asking for money right now. So, you might be able to establish a boundary, or establish a boundary. You might be able to get some encouragement and some coaching involved. That would be nice. That'd be a wonderful thing for a son to do for his parents, for his mom and stepdad. But you're not going to have a single conversation that solves her 2-decade pattern of not liking to work much. That's a single conversation isn't going to do that.
That's correct.
And so you're going to be disappointed because there's not multiple conversations coming from her son are not going to make her go to work. Okay, that was her dad that had to do that one, and we're way past that. That ship has sailed. So, and always keep in mind, folk, when you're talking to your mom and dad, you are facing the powdered butt syndrome. Once someone has powdered your butt, they don't really want your opinion about money or sex. No input's helpful there. So, and a lot of people's parents never talked about sex and never talked about money, and everybody was surprised later when they found out they had both. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info. Our question of the day is sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services. After fires or floods, their Rainbow Restoration Pros offer homeowners trusted, full-service restoration expertise like mold remediation, carpet cleaning, odor removal, and more. Visit neighborly.com today to find Rainbow Restoration Services in your area.
Today's question comes from Alan in Pennsylvania. Some legislators in my state are introducing a bill to do a study on universal basic income. At this point, it's just a proposal to do a study, but I was curious what your thoughts are on the government providing low-income people with a monthly stipend. I know other parts of the world have introduced forms of it to varying degrees of success. Okay, I'm not a fan of any type of universal basic income for a variety of reasons. I'm going to try to keep this short. First and foremost, it does not create incentive. It does not allow someone to see the value of showing up and putting in some work. And we know from human behavior, and we saw this in the United States, it's why we're in the inflationary period that we're in. When we give out more money and unemployment benefits were increased and extended, people spent the money. People don't save the money. People need dignity of work to get up, go do something, get paid, and watch themselves continue to make progress. And the argument for people that are pro-stipend, and I'm seeing this all over the place in the United States, being tested in multiple cities right now, and it is a social entitlement. And entitlement, if you look at the word in the dictionary, I'll let you do it on your own. It does not create incentive. It actually de-incentivizes people, and they end up misusing it. So for that reason, I'm not a fan of it at all. It's also a slippery slope to a universal income across the board, which we see in socialistic countries like Venezuela, Cuba, and more. Go do your homework on how that has worked out.
Yeah. Generally speaking, if you study history, communism has failed. For the little man to get ahead, capitalism in its current form today is not perfect, but it is by far in human history, all of human history, at this moment in time in the United States of America, the little man has a better chance of getting ahead and becoming somebody than he has in any other government situation, in any other economic system in human history. This is straight out of the Karl Marx playbook. This is not out of the Adam Smith playbook. Let me help you with that. Karl Marx, father of communism. Adam Smith wrote the tome that we were all required to read on capitalism if we took economics. So my friend Art Laffer, one of the leading economists in the world, says that if you pay people to not work, please expect them to not work.
It's pretty deep.
Yeah, it's deep. And
true.
And here's the thing. So if I thought with my 40 years plus in the financial world that this was helpful to people, I would be for it, even though I am a staunch capitalist. Just set me on fire and I burn capitalism. I mean, it does. I believe in it to the core of my being. And if you don't like that, that's okay. Go start your own show. This is mine. And so this is what we do. And so if I honestly thought that if you were struggling financially, if you came up in a family in a socioeconomic setting on a lower rung of the ladder, your best shot at life of having a high-quality life was a universal income, I would say go for it. But I don't think it is. As a matter of fact, all of my experience and all of the data we have at Ramsey indicates that your best quality of life is when your character is increased with grit, discipline, calluses. The ability to overcome obstacles gives you much more joy than the dull hum of communism. It puts you to sleep. And if the welfare system worked, people would be sprinting out of these government-funded ghettos into a wonderful life. And instead, they've set up camp there generationally. And it's not good for you. It's not, you have no compassion. I have more compassion than you do if you believe in this crap, because it's not good for you. It's not good for someone. So I always think, the people that think capitalism doesn't work are the ones that grew up here and were trained by a tenured professor who believes in Karl Marx more than he does Adam Smith. And they were taught by some idiot college professor that this stuff actually works. Well, it works in Sweden. Let's just keep in mind here, Sweden, the entire population of Sweden, the entire gross domestic product output of Sweden is way smaller than Dallas. Okay, so you can't really extrapolate that size of an economy to the size of an economy like ours and say something works. So that's just bonehead, asinine analysis. Okay, so that's just crap. Now, what does work is this: incentive. What does work is a belief that if I leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home, I get to keep it, and the government won't take it from me. I had a young guy working for us. Remember when social media first started many years ago, and we learned this new term, SEO.
Yeah.
And he was a young tech guy, and he was from Czechoslovakia, and he had this fabulous American accent, but with that Slavic accent, right? He spoke English, but with that Slavic accent. I wish I could do it. Hillbilly Slavic would be awesome, but I can't do it. So anyway, Milan was his name. And Milan left to go get his master's degree. He was 25 years old. Went to go get. I love Ramsey, but I'm going to go get my master's degree. That's my best imitation. It's not very good. Yeah.
Pretty good.
And I said, how are you going to pay for it? I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. This is America.
Yeah.
So he goes. The cost of the master's degree for the first semester was $4,000. He goes to a garage sale 3 days after he quit here. And the guy at the garage sale was a Nike salesman, and he had a whole garage full of last year's Nike's shoes samples that he used to go to the stores to make the sale, used to go to the vendors to make the sales. So Milan buys the entire garage of last year's Nikes for $15. He said, my whole back seat was full. My whole trunk was full. I filled up the passenger side.
Love that.
He goes, I put them on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Dave, in 48 hours, I got the money to go to school.
Yeah.
What a country! Yeah. What a country! You don't get that with a universal stupid butt communism stipend.
Yeah. That's
you
true.
don't get that.
Right.
The number of people nowadays going to garage sales, buying used clothing for 10 cents, selling it on eBay for $1.60 and making $10,000 a month doing this in mass is unbelievable. The first guy that ever made $1 million on eBay was buying used golf clubs from people that gave up on their horrible golf game, polished them up, flipped them on eBay.
Yeah.
You don't get that if you're sitting on your welfare check.
Here's one for you. I interviewed a couple recently on my show who now making over $1 million a year on their YouTube channel, teaching people how they were successful at flea market flipping. So they were making about $300,000 a year just on flea market flipping. Then they started making videos of how they do it, and now they're making over $1 million. That is individualism, which, by the way, is the opposite of communism. Communal is the root word, and they twist it. America works because it allows people the freedom to be who they want to be.
I know a guy that was so stupid that he filed bankruptcy because he was so bad at handling money, and he's made millions of dollars teaching people to live on less than they make.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah.
What a country! Oh my gosh.
I can't wait for the video that people are going to cut up of you with this new accent. I think it's going to be huge.
It's horrible. It's a horrible. I wish it was good because it was so powerful.
It's not bad. You can't detect any East Tennessee in that at all. No Middle Tennessee. No Tennessee anywhere.
Hillbilly Slavic. Just leave it at that. All right, it's a whole new dialect. I just invented it today. I'll probably make money on that too. What a country! Yeah. This is the Ramsey Show. It's a competitive home buying market, but there's a way you can get an edge. Churchill Mortgage works with you to understand your budget and your goals. And the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge offers you fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus, Churchill has bumped up their seller guarantee to $10,000, giving your offer the best chance of being accepted and helping you win in today's market. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Marcy is with us. Marcy is in Oklahoma City. Hi, Marcy. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I was calling to ask about life insurance. Now, my husband and I have been married for 15 years, and he is 50 years old, and I'm 36. But we haven't really discussed life insurance, see what kinds of policies or for how much, just to protect us for the future and to protect our assets.
Okay. Well, a good rule of thumb is, and we can start with that, and then we'll back into your particular situation, is a 15 to a 20-year level term insurance policy that is about 10 to 12 times his income on him, 10 to 12 times your income on you. That will replace the income that is lost. So if you make $50,000 a year, that'd be $500,000 to $600,000. If he dies, you put $600,000 in an investment. If it makes 10%, that's $60,000. He was making $50,000. You've replaced his income. So that's the baseline for discussing this. Okay.
Okay.
Then we put you on the baby steps plan and we get you out of debt. And then we start saving for retirement. So as your retirement increases and your debt decreases and your kids grow up, your need for life insurance begins to go away. So, for instance, I have no debt, several $100 million in real estate, and my kids are all grown and gone and self-sufficient. So if I die without any life insurance, Miss Sharon's going to be just fine. So I have become self-insured by building wealth and staying out of debt.
We've been able to, we don't have any debt.
Good.
And we have been able to build our wealth up. He makes about...
How much nest egg do you have?
We have a portfolio that is about 850,000, depending on the
And what
economy.
does he make?
He makes about 150,000 a year.
Okay. And do you have any children?
He has one son, but his son's older.
Okay, but the two of you have no children.
No.
Okay. And do you earn an income?
I don't. I stay at home.
Okay. Cool. All right. So if you want to replace his 150,000, let's pretend his 800 would create 80, leaves a deficit of 70.
Okay.
Okay. 10 times that would be 700,000.
Okay.
All right. And the faster is your home paid off?
Yeah, our home's paid off.
What's it
and
worth?
We don't have any. It's worth $260,000.
You stay in it if he dies? Nope. Okay.
No, because I'd probably want to move home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The hesitation told me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
And if you moved home, if you spent less than $260,000, that'd give you more to live on. So you're probably okay, because the truthful story is, I mean, without any insurance, the truthful story is if he passes away, it'd be horrible and tragic.
Yeah.
But you're going to have $800,000 plus $260,000 from the sale of a house. You're going to be a millionaire. Matter of fact, you're millionaires now. Okay.
Okay.
And so you're 36 years old. You're probably going to go have a life after this that probably involves creating some income.
Right.
So you're probably self-insured in actuality today. But if you wanted to shore it up and put $500,000 on him, that'd be fine.
Okay.
You're not creating an income. If you pass away, he doesn't need to replace the income that you're creating, since there isn't any, so we don't need to insure you. And you're not playing Mary Poppins to 3 kids that he's got to hire people to take care of to keep working if you pass away. So again, we don't need to insure you at all. He's just a millionaire if you passed away.
Okay.
Making $150,000 a year. And again, what we're reducing a very tragic, horrible, heart-wrenching situation to a series of math numbers, so that's pretty dadgum cold, but that's the way it works out, right?
Well, just to make sure that, we're both protected or...
You're protected. You got $800,000.
Okay.
I mean, that's a lot of protection. And the truth is, in 7 years, if that is invested in good mutual funds, that 800 will be 1.6. So you don't need a 15-year. What I would do if you really just want super safeties, I pick up $500,000 on him on a 5-year policy. Won't cost that much if he's healthy. If he's not fat and he doesn't smoke, that won't cost much.
No, he's very healthy.
Okay, that won't cost a lot then at 50.
Okay.
I mean, I can buy it at 62. I'm slightly overweight, but I still qualify, and I don't smoke. So these are the two things that kill you on life insurance, no pun intended. And so, but yeah, if he does that, you can pick up a $500,000 5-year policy, go to Xander Insurance and price that out, and that'll, probably won't cost you much, and it'll give you a little peace of mind. But when you look up 5 years from now, don't renew that stupid policy, because you're going to be worth $2 million, $2.5 million at that point. And if he dies, you're going to be just fine, just like Miss Sharon is. And by the way, she has completely planned for me to die first, Ken.
Yeah.
I don't understand how our estate plan is sure that I am dying first. But she's in much better shape than I am.
She
but
is.
I think it's an evil plot.
You think so?
I think it could be.
I think she has a hunch.
I understand. I don't know.
Is she going to travel the world? She's a very social person. I suspect we'll never see her again.
She'll be the one of those old women that lives on a cruise ship.
I think so. Yeah. She's very social.
Walking
very
fast.
Active.
Walking fast around the cruise ship.
She will. That's her.
That'll be her. With some of her friends.
Oh,
yeah. And if they weren't her friend before the walk, after the walk, they're her friend.
Yeah.
So there you go.
True.
My friend. So, yeah, I think that's probably the way this is going to go down. So, apparently, our entire estate plan is planned around that. So,
if I was a betting man, I would probably put the chips on Sharon.
75% of the ladies' husbands the ladies outlive their husbands.
Yeah.
And statistically, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I really think it's an evil plot. I'm not sure. Ryan is in Minnesota. Hey, Ryan, what's up?
Hey, Dave. Hey, Ken. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So I was just calling a question mostly for Mr. Coleman here. So I've read Proximity Principle, Paycheck to Purpose, did the Get Clear assessments, and kind of was positioning myself for kind of the next step in my role, which I've been in for 9 years. That role would just more so be a supervisory position. My company, is splitting off, and some of the supervisory positions were going to become available. And as the split off has happened, time came for the positions to be fulfilled. And instead of interviews, they did appointments, and I was not one of those. So kind of my question is, just kind of where, your fantastic books have leading me towards is I like project management and kind of more teaching. So do I stick with the company, wait for another opportunity, or do I pursue kind of project management certificates or MBA with that, in cash, of course?
Well, I would stay, if you're pursuing project management, I'd stay in your current company, and you're going to get that certification and training on the side. You don't need to go to school to get a project management degree. There are some very, very clear skills, and you can get certifications. In fact, we have a course at Ramsey led by me and our Chief Technology Officer, Brendan Wojko, that a lot of people have taken and used to get hired. So in that case, I would stay put if I'm going the project management route. I would not pursue the MBA unless the MBA was something that was required by a certain company or a particular type of a job in an industry where it may not be said that it's required, but it's pretty much a cultural thing that you've got to do. Other than that, my friend, you know where you want to go. I think you wanted to be in leadership. You certainly like the instruction side of leadership, it sounds like, with the teaching side of things. But I'd stay put, get qualified while I'm where I am, look for an opportunity, and then move on. But I'd stay put. I wouldn't go to school.
This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jessica is in San Francisco. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, sir. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I have a question for you. I'm a net worth millionaire.
Good for you.
And thank you. I would like to retire early, and I'm not sure if I'm funneling my money correctly into the IRA versus the brokerage because I've been paying down the house aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to get your input on how I can channel that money to retire around the age of 55.
Okay. So let me get under the motivation for just a second because it does enter into the answer. When I hear retire early, it can mean one of two things. It could mean I want to be wealthy enough to retire early, or it could mean I hate my job, and that's the soonest I can see a way to get out.
Absolutely love my job. I'm not sure if I'm mentally able to retire early because I love my job, but I want to have the option
there we go.
to work.
Okay. So instead of retire early, I want to be able to.
Correct.
I want to be more financially independent than I am now, and keep doing what I love, because that's my case. Okay, I haven't needed to work for a long time financially, but I work because I love what I do. I'm having a blast. I had to run me out of here with a stick. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so anyway, and I just like winning, and we win a lot at Ramsey, so that's fun too. All right, so if you want to have access to enough income that is not penalized, you're going to have what we always call bridge accounts that are not in retirement accounts, to be able to access them before 59 and a half, a large portion of your wealth. But I would think getting your home paid off, particularly in the San Francisco market, would be a big part of this as well. And so how much, you said you're a net worth millionaire. Give me a little breakdown on that. How's that categorized?
My net worth is just under about 1.7.
Okay.
My mortgage is currently 160 left.
And your house is worth what?
IRA, about 1.5.
Okay. So the house is almost paid off. Good.
Almost.
And how much is it? And so that's 1.4 of the 1.7, right? So you got $300K in retirement?
I'm about 174 in IRAs. 74 is in a Roth. The rest is in traditional brokerage. I have about 152.
Yeah.
Savings, I have about 45. I want to throw a chunk of that.
And your household, your income must be ridiculous. What is it?
It's anywhere between 185 to 200.
Really? You have piled up some. Oh, you got this huge equity in this house, but you've done a great job. Did you inherit any? Did you inherit this house?
I inherited about $500,000, which helped with the down payment.
Okay, all right, that explains it. Okay, well, you're doing extremely well. I was kind of waiting on a $700,000 income with these numbers, but the inheritance offsets that, so I get it. Okay, good. You're doing a great job. So you're at baby step what we call 4, 5, 6, and I'd be putting 15% of my income away into retirement. If you want to put some of that in brokerage, meaning in mutual funds, but not in retirement, that's okay. But 15% of your income needs to go towards mutual funds, some in retirement accounts, some in, and everything else goes towards the house till the house is paid off. Once the house is paid off, I'm going to put 15% into retirement, and any other money I can scrape together over into bridge, and you're going to be just fine. You're going to have plenty of money.
What I'm doing now is $1,700 into a Roth IRA and then $500 into brokerage. I don't know if that sets me up in the right place.
No, you got to do more than that. Yeah, you make $185,000. 15% is $30,000 a year. That's that's probably pretty close. $2,500 a month is what we're dealing with. So
put more into the brokerage.
Yeah,
put like $300 more into the brokerage.
That's fine. So yeah, something like that. And then make sure you're just any other money you can scrape together. Let's clear that 160, because if you clear that 160, you're going to have a huge asset there that you could do a lot of different things with. But the other thing is you got rid of your most expensive line item in your budget, which is your housing. Okay,
right.
And that house is going to continue it's going to continue to go up in value, regardless of the problems that San Francisco has. You're going to still see increases in value there.
Yeah.
And
I want to pay the house off in like 3 years.
Good. That's a good plan. Okay, so you're going to be 40 with a paid for house, and then we're just going to load up. We're going to put 15% into retirement, regular retirement, 401k, Roth IRAs, and we're going to put the rest of it over into mutual funds. And if those accounts double every 7 years, you're going to be in really great shape at 55. They will double every 7 years,
so
plus what you put in. I'm sorry?
You think I'm on track?
Oh, you're definitely on track, and you're doing a great job. Congratulations. You're amazing. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. A lot of hustle. And I want people to hear that. Yes, they had the inheritance, which allowed them to do the big down payment, but just the discipline to knock that out and to be sitting on a home worth that much money. I mean, that is a game changer.
Yeah.
And you can do it on that kind of income.
Yeah.
But they sacrificed. I mean, they've worked hard.
And she's in one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world.
Correct.
And, and took advantage of that. Mm-hmm. But didn't overdo it.
That's right.
Didn't go, oh, it's San Francisco, I have to buy $5 million. No, you don't. She's in $1.5 million, which is modest.
Yeah, what would you say that is?
That's modest.
2,200 square feet?
No, not even.
Not even that big.
No.
Okay.
Well, depends on where it's located.
Sure.
But I mean, it's...
it's not huge.
Yeah. This is not she's not living in a mansion, and she's a millionaire at 37.
Yeah.
Let's just keep this in mind. Well done.
And I also love that what you asked. We have a lot of new people coming all the time. I love how you qualified why the early retirement. And here's a woman who loves her work. She said mentally, I can't see myself quitting, but what I heard from that is it gives her options. Mm-hmm. She may not work for that particular company, but the type of work when you are 55 and able to walk away, it's not that you walk away from work, it's that you may walk into something completely different. And that we're not made to just shut down.
Yeah.
And just coast.
Yep.
I thought that was interesting. I love how you framed that as the motive.
We talked about, Jade and I talked about it earlier in the week on this show, discussing the FIRE movement, this thing. And early in my career, a lot of people were doing stuff like teaching people to be financially independent. And that's a scary phrase.
Yep.
That's a scary phrase. I want to retire early. And do what?
Right.
That's a scary phrase.
Yeah.
Okay. So in her case, she wants to have the wealth. And so, number one, you're never going to, the more financial you have, the less independent you are. You're more dependent. Crap, the more stuff you own, the more repairmen you have to know. Okay. So we dealt with all that the other day on the air. And so, but the retirement thing is the same way. Having the money to retire is one thing. But what you said is perfect. It gives you lots of options. And here's the weird thing. People that don't have to work will get joy from a job that they hate, that they might have hated if they had to work.
Really true. That's absolutely right.
Because you feel stuck.
That's correct.
And so our career field.
That's right.
Or whatever else. And it's like, I'm doing this because I want to, and therefore I like what I'm doing, and, it's not drudgery.
Real quick, for those, the FIRE movement stands for Financially Independent Retire Early. And Dave, the guy who's considered the founder of the movement, I shared this on the Ken Coleman Show about 6 weeks ago, he's now going back to work. He thought he had enough, and now he's panicking. Do I have enough to keep staying? And he's like, and I actually miss work. So here's a guy who thinks he miscalculated, number one, but then he said, I just miss showing up every day and doing something that I enjoy. So that guy is back in the workforce.
Yeah. And again, work that has meaning, where you're lifting someone's life, whether you're fixing their transmission or their budget. I don't care. You're lifting someone's life. You're being of assistance to other humans. That's work that has meaning. It's man's search for meaning. Viktor Frankl. So there you go. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Ken Coleman of the Ken Coleman Show and the #1 best-selling book, Paycheck to Purpose, the Ramsey personality on career and jobs expert, is my co-host today. You got career and jobs questions, he's here for you, and we'll talk to you. And we'll talk to you about your life, whatever you want to talk about. Phone number, 888-825-5225. Adam is in Salt Lake City. Hey, Adam, what's up?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ken. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Sure. What's up?
I have a question. I'm trying to get a few thoughts organized. So I have a house that is rented in a different state with a mortgage of $216,000 currently. And then I have my primary residence in Salt Lake City, which I bought the last year. And I'm trying to decide whether I should keep both or sell the rented property. And then the other part of the question I'm trying to decide is I don't want to stay in the primary residence for longer than, say, 2 or 3 years because I would like to ultimately buy a land and build a house. So I'm just trying to figure out what would be the best option and then start thinking about how to get there in the next few years.
That's fun. What do you make?
$103,000.
Good for you.
Gross.
And how old are you?
32.
Good for you. Well done. Okay. The way we answer questions around here, Adam, is based on what I know. What would I do if I was trying to build wealth the fastest, right way? What would I do if I woke up in your shoes? And that's how I think about these things when someone calls here on this show, okay? And I know a lot about real estate. I've been owning real estate and managing real estate and dealing with landlord and tenant issues most of my adult life. And I love real estate. I hate long-distance landlording. It's a recipe for failure. And I love being debt-free. All of those things lead me to sell the rental house and pay off your personal residence and then use the fact that you make a lot of money and you have no payments at that point to pile up cash in a good investment to pay cash for your upgrade on this build that you're going to do, and then pay cash for your other rental properties if you want to buy some more investment properties later. But that advice is not popular on TikTok, but I'm not running a TikTok poll. I'm telling you, based on a 40-year career of helping people become millionaires, what I am pretty sure is what I am very sure is the best route for you to do the same, to become a millionaire. And so I'm not trying to run a popularity contest here. I'm just right. There's a difference. And so that's what we would tell you to do.
Well, I think what we want to point out here is that what you just said isn't going to happen overnight. And that's why these schemes and the TikTok videos are so popular, because it promises something that just quite frankly isn't true and has tremendous risk to it. The get-rich-quick idea versus what you just told our friend here, Adam. Adam is going to be very wealthy.
Yeah.
And he is also going to be secure and sleep well at night.
Absolutely. And he's obviously a sharp young guy.
Very sharp.
Very cool.
And he's not at the end of his earning potential either. You got the feeling at 32, he's already making $100,000 plus.
He's going to be kicking it. Yeah. So you got a bright future, dude. Just be, what I'm telling you to do is a way that has very little to no risk, and you're in control of your life, and you don't take penalty steps backwards and get the opportunity to start over. Which, by the way, that's something worth talking about for a minute, and it works in your career, and it works with your money. The thing that number one, the path to the gleaming mountain of success is not a straight line, okay? It's an ebb and flow. There's a little tide goes in, tide goes out in the process. And the gleaming mountain of success is actually a pile of your failures that you're standing on, the things you've learned the hard way. Everyone I know that is a household name, brand name in any part of the world, whether it's a pastor that everybody in America knows who that pastor is, or got a huge ministry, or whether it's an author that's done multiple #1 bestsellers, or whether it's a business person or a sports person or whatever it is. Every time I run music people, the people that are inordinately successful are colossal failures.
Yeah.
And so the gleaming mountain of success is a pile of mistakes. Now, what they do, and John Maxwell, our friend, talks about this. He wrote a book years ago called Failing Forward. They don't make fatal mistakes. Mm-hmm. They don't make mistakes that set you back so far. They're tiny mistakes for course correction.
Yeah.
And the thing that keeps people from becoming wealthy is, A, they don't apply themselves to a simple set of principles, and B, by not applying themselves to that simple set of principles, they fall for these get-rich-quick crap, and they have these tremendous setbacks.
Yeah.
You know, I went and bought 10 houses and put them on Airbnb, only to find out that, and leveraged all of them to their eyeballs, only to find out that Airbnb is now illegal in 2 of those cities, and only to find out that Airbnb in the rest of the cities is completely flooded, and I can't keep them full. And so I'm not making any money, and the guy on TikTok lied to me.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know what the flip he's talking about.
That's right.
He didn't mean to lie to me, or maybe he did mean to lie to me. I don't know. Either way, you lied to me. I got bad information, and now you're getting ready to get foreclosed on, and you're going to lose a portfolio of 10 properties, and you're going to go bankrupt, all because you were stupid.
Yeah.
And I've been stupid like that. I did that exact thing. I had to start completely over. I'm so stupid, I've been a millionaire twice.
Right.
You know, and so I didn't just do it once. And it's a lot easier if you're in an Adam situation, just do it once.
That's right. Here's what people overlook, Dave, about what you're saying. Greatness is a process. You don't get to greatness, any of the fields you mentioned, without a process. You look at athletes, you look at coaches, you look at artists, craftsmen, true craftsmen. Mm-hmm. There's a process, and what they focus on is the little things, the fundamentals, the process of trying, the process of failing. To your point, it's not fatal. They're going to learn from it. And what you learn when you have the discipline to do the little things, the fundamentals, to embrace the process, here's what happens. You begin to hate losing so very much that you will go the extra mile to actually win. And with this TikTok generation and Instagram and these get-rich-quick schemes, it removes the process. Yeah. The reason the baby steps have worked for people is because it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen.
Yeah.
That's what successful people get. They embrace the process,
I never
not
thought
the risk.
about it, but I was hanging out with this comedian guy the other day that's got a big Netflix special.
Yeah.
And did you know you don't just go do a Netflix special?
Yeah, no.
That you take all those jokes and you go into small clubs and test them?
Yeah, yeah. And get brutalized
and then
by
they
people.
get brutalized on the... exactly. He said, it's harsh.
Yeah.
But he said, before I get on there, everything I do on there, I already know works.
That's exactly
because
right.
I've had course corrections. Interesting. This is The Ramsey Show. Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Guys, we need your help. If you'd like to help, I can tell you how. Subscribe to this show. And a follow or whatever it is. I mean, whether it's YouTube or it's a podcast or it's, I don't know, Spotify video, whatever it is, Twitter video, wherever it is, subscribe to it, follow us. That helps a lot. Leave a 5-star review if they've got that opportunity. That helps a lot. And share it. Some of these services have a share button. Other times you just tell people or you clip the link and you send a link to somebody. I was listening to Craig Groeschel's podcast, my buddy's podcast this week, and it was really good. I sent him a note personally. It was just a outrageous, what do you call it? It was talking about being outrageous with your goals. And, it was powerful. And so I clipped the link to it, sent it to all my leaders here, and I'm like, hey, this is inspiring. Watch this. So you could do that for us. You could say, this show helped me. Send it to somebody. Tell people about it. We know you're doing that because our numbers are way up, and we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Brittany is in California. Hi, Brittany. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. Hi. What's up?
Okay, so my husband and I have some single stocks. We are just finishing up SPU, and we are in baby step, almost done with baby step 2, going into step 3. And we live in Southern California, and we are trying to figure out if we should move the single stocks to mutual funds or use it for a future down payment. The only catch is we don't currently want to be homeowners. My husband just took the Get Clear assessment. Thank you, Ken. And he's thinking about switching jobs.
Okay. All right. So how long do you think it's going to be before you buy a house, if you were to guess?
I'd say 5 to 8 years.
Okay. All right. I would cash out the stocks and put them in mutual funds and let them sit there as a house fund.
Okay.
Okay. Get with a SmartVestor Pro, pick something conservative that's not super volatile, and let it just sit there and grow for 5 to 8 years. And you'll be adding to that as you go along as your down payment fund. That's what this is.
Okay.
And then just, make sure baby step 3 is finished, of course, before you do that. But as soon as baby step 3 is finished, whatever's left, put that in mutual funds towards your baby step 3B. But your 3B is going to be hanging out a while, and you're going to go on to 4 and start putting 15% of your income into retirement. Yeah, you're right on track. How much is in this stock?
A little over $370,000.
Good Lord.
How much? Did you say you were still in baby step 2, almost to go into 3?
Yeah, we'll be done next month. Roughly.
Yeah, I would have cashed some of that out already and paid off all that debt, but that's okay. You're there now.
Yeah.
Make sure your emergency fund comes out of that before you move it, and then move it all over into mutual funds. Yeah. Where'd you get this stock?
It was my husband. It was basically given to him when he was younger on his name, and kind of like an early inheritance, I guess.
Yeah, you're probably going to have some taxes on this too, so you need to get some tax advice and figure out exactly what that's going to be. But I'm going to move it into mutual funds to stabilize it and let it grow, and that's your house purchase fund when you do get ready to buy a home. I'm not sure why you're waiting 5 years to buy a house, but I get his career stabilized. I wouldn't wait 8 years. Don't know that you need to wait 5 years, but $300,000 would go a long way, even in Anaheim, California. So, but you decide how you want to do that. Hey, thanks for the call. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Scott's in Minneapolis. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
So let's see, a little bit of backstory. I'm trying to help my wife help her in her parents. We're in our 50s. They're in their late 80s. They have zero debt. They've owned a home for probably 40 years. Her father-in-law has dementia. Her dad has dementia. So we're helping the mom financially. We want to make sure that we know where all the money's coming from, because money's not talked about openly. And my wife is an only child. And so my financial advisor said, hey, ask for a copy of their taxes, and you can make sure that there's nothing up there hiding somewhere. So we did. Everything looked fine. We know where their money's coming in from. But we also noticed that they have a reverse mortgage.
Oh, God.
Which surprised us because they have all the money they need. They've never had any money problems. And they don't live extravagantly at all.
How old is the reverse mortgage? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so I thought it was taken out last January. And my wife concluded, well, that kind of makes sense because maybe her mom is looking for potentially long-term care options for the dad. But she actually did a little more snooping. She visits them every other weekend last weekend and found the original documentation and found out that it was actually taken out 20 years ago. And they were paying around $5,000 a year in interest based on last year's taxes, which now I can see is going to $10,000 a year because of the interest rates. From what I can tell, there were so many numbers, it was a little difficult for me to understand. But from what I can tell, they're not using any of the money. I think they're just paying. Basically, I think they're using it just like a home equity loan. But I don't know for sure. And because finances aren't openly discussed, we're trying to gather as much information before we approach the subject with them. Like, what are their options, if there even are any options?
Well, I don't know what you've got, so I don't know what your options are because you don't know what you've got here. So other than a mess.
Well, I can tell you,
but I mean,
sure,
they max out at 65% loan to value. So the most they owe on the house is 65% of its then value. 20 years ago.
Which the numbers make sense. There was a number in there of like $197,000. The home is on a lake. It's probably worth roughly $500,000. So that makes sense.
And then they quit getting checks. Now they just have a debt accruing interest sitting there.
If they ever even got a single check, I'm not even sure that happened.
Well, the checks had to come. I mean, that's the only way the debt gets on place. A reverse mortgage is you receive payments and the balance goes up. It's the reverse of a regular mortgage where you pay payments and the balance goes down.
Yes.
So they've been receiving payments for 20 years.
Okay.
Up until it got to 197 and then it cut off. And then, if it has cut off, and I guess it has, and then it just starts accruing interest and they get no more payments. So somewhere in the last 20 years, there's $200,000 income.
Yeah. Okay. And so we would see that as income in their tax statement if they were still
no, it's not taxable.
Money? Oh, got it.
It's when you borrow money, you don't pay taxes on borrowed money.
Okay.
If you go take out a loan from the bank for $10,000, they don't charge you. $10,000 doesn't show up on your income tax.
Right.
So this doesn't show up. The only thing that show up on their income tax is if they're deducting the interest that they're now paying. And that would be if they're doing a long-form income tax and not doing standard deduction.
Which they are. I mean, at least I saw, well, I shouldn't say that. I saw the statement. Which
if you see interest on there, if you see interest paid on that income tax statement, then this thing is ended and they're having to pay the interest to maintain it.
Okay. And the only way you can get out of it is to sell the home, pay it back.
Yeah, you got to refinance and put it in a regular mortgage, which might not be a bad idea, because probably you're going to find the interest rates high.
Oh, I didn't know. So you can treat this like a normal loan.
It's a debt. They owe $200,000 on this. They can pay it off.
Okay, that I didn't know. That's good to know.
Just go get a $200,000 loan at 15-year at 6% because they're probably being charged 10 or 12. Yeah, these reverse mortgages are the worst thing on the planet. They're just horrible product. And here's why. Now you got an 82-year-old that's up a creek because some actor from another generation was on the news channel telling you needed to borrow on your house 20 years ago when they were 62. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer, and good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You guys have known how bad the economy is, and you've known how bad inflation is, and you know how horrible the stock market is, right? Or maybe you didn't. I just pulled it up for the fun of it a minute ago. The S&P 500, which is the most accurate measure of the New York Stock Exchange, if you put money in 12 months ago today, 1 year ago today, and then left it alone until today, you would have made a 16.2% rate of return in the last 12 months. Interesting. Now, here's what it did. It dove after the midterm elections. The stock market did not like the results of the midterm elections, and it went way down. And then it's just gradually bump, come up a little bit at a time, every month, every day, every week, just kind of chugging along. And it passed the old high and passed where we were 12 months ago at this time. And now you're sitting on a 16% rate of return. No one talks about that, do they? Did you hear anybody say you could have made 16% on your money in the last 12 months? And that's with an S&P 500, which is not sexy at all. I mean, that's about boring as it gets.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And been on a very nice run, by the way, this summer.
Yeah.
Very nice run.
But nothing spectacular.
No.
It's just bump. That's right. It's just bumping along. Yep. But going up and to the right. Melanie is in Washington, D.C. Hi, Melanie. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
My question is if it's a wise decision for me to sell my home and purchase my daughter's home and move in and live with her. She's currently going through a divorce, and she doesn't have the finances to buy out her spouse's portion of the home in order to be able to afford it.
I'm sorry she's going through that.
Thank you.
Well, I think that would be a mistake unless there's something more that you're not telling me. This sounds to me like a mom whose heart is hurting for her daughter and doesn't want her daughter to have all the pain she's having, and you're trying to make some of it go away. And that's a nice motivation, but this is not a good plan.
Okay.
So what we find...
My thought process was...
Go ahead.
Sorry?
You go ahead.
So my thought process was I'm looking to retire in a year or two anyway, and I was planning on, she lives in a different state, so I was planning on moving out to live closer to her just because I've lived here with all my other kids and grandkids for a long time and just wanted to have that chance to be closer to them for a little while too. So my intention was of moving there in another year or two anyway. But with the housing market, I'm not finding anything really affordable for me as a single person retired. So I thought, well, why not buy her home because that would help her out as well. But it doesn't sound like you think that's a very good idea.
No, because it's a temporary situation and you're putting a permanent solution in. She's going to have to establish a sustainable life after the divorce for her own dignity and for herself. And if she can't afford this house, she should not keep the house. And that's heartbreaking. That's one more heartbreak that goes with the heartbreak of a divorce. And, well, that means the kids have to move. It's heartbreaking. But I'll tell you what's more heartbreaking is a mom, her, that is stressed out about money because she kept things based on the old life's income that's not there anymore because of the divorce. Mm-hmm. And so I want her to have a full reset and establish some ground, something solid to work from. And if you want to move to the area and be emotional support to her, that's fine. But you're leaving Washington, D.C., which is an expensive market. Where does she live?
She lives in a suburb of Salt Lake City.
Which is a cheaper market than you're in.
A little bit. I mean, I've been
doing
it is research on. Yeah.
No, it is. It is. I don't know where you researched, but I mean, you're looking at a neighborhood that's different than the neighborhood you're living in now. So, but apples to apples, neighborhood to neighborhood, housing price to housing price, DC's more than the cost of real estate's more than Salt Lake for sure. And I frequently in both markets and know the real estate market, so I'm not just making this up. But yeah, I appreciate your sweetheart and you want to be there for her. I would rather you be there for her emotionally, cheering her on, but I want her to scramble the eggs of her life and get a new omelet, get a new place to start from, a reset that's based on her new income, not her old income with her husband, ex-husband now, a new situation for her children, and let her come from solid ground to rebuild her life. Because what we run into, Melanie, is this, and all the years I've been doing this, what normally happens, this is kind of a stereotype almost. Divorce happens, dad moves out of the house, mom's income is lower than dad's, and she tries to keep the house because her mother's heart is to protect the children's environment. They don't have to change schools. They don't have to change bedrooms. They don't have to pack up their stuff and go through more trauma because they're already going through the trauma of their parents splitting up. And mama's trying to keep them from feeling any more pain. So she tries to keep a house with less income than he makes. And he used to be there helping to pay that payment, and she generally saddles herself with a house she can't afford, and instead of creating the trauma for the children now while it's going on and let them just reset in a new place, a little apartment or whatever, now they have to live with a mom who's freaked out day in and day out over money. And then she ends up losing the house or having to give it away, and after 4 years of deep anxiety and stress. And I run into that like thousands of times in the last 30 years. So my advice is while the pain is there, just go ahead and get all the pain over with and do the reset. Sell the stupid house. She can't afford the house. Sell it and let her move into something that to reset and rebuild her life. She got to rebuild her career too.
That's the point that I think you're making, is that the emotional support here for Melanie is going to be great for her daughter, and that's enough. This daughter is going to have to reset her life in multiple ways, and she needs to get out on her own. It's going to help her heal, by the way. Not in any way minimizing the pain of this, but getting out on your own, beginning to show that you're the mama bear, and I'd never bet against a mama bear, that she can do it, and it's going to help the healing process, and I think restore her dignity, Dave, because the dignity is robbed in a divorce. One way or the other, it just is. And this is a case where, again, she's going to end up being better off by selling the house and rebuilding.
Yeah. And don't try to patch this together.
No.
It's just not going to be good for her. And it's not good for you either, because you're saddled in there with one kid with all of your equity tied up in that house. And then you can't make decisions that are smart for either one of you.
Yeah.
It's just, it creates it's a bad medicine. So please don't do it. It's a sweet intent. Mm-hmm. You're trying to help, and I appreciate that. But it's a type of enabling that you're doing here, and I wouldn't do it. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Divorces, it's unbelievably expensive. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, everything involved. But in a situation like that, that's where you really, really feel it. And there's it turns a marriage into a business transaction, the splitting of the assets and the liabilities, right? The allocating of the mess in the settlement, but then also this the grieving of what was supposed to be. This picture I had, Dr. John Deloney talks about this picture I had of what old age was going to look like. Now it's not going to look like that. What the next 10 years was going to look like. Now it's not going to look like that. What walking her down the aisle was going to look like, my daughter, it's not going to look like that. And man, it's a process. And in the middle of that, don't add financial stress to the equation because you kept a car or a house or something else stupid that you couldn't afford. This is The Ramsey Show. Thank you for joining us, America. We're glad you are here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Angelica, I'm probably saying that wrong.
Angelica, maybe?
Angelica, thank you. I knew I was doing it wrong. Angelica's in Norfolk, Virginia. Hi, Angelica. How are you?
Hi, Dave.
Angelica. What in the world? What a hillbilly.
Well, you got hooked off of phonics for just a second.
I did. Just for a second there. All
That's
right.
fine.
That's why I have Ken Coleman
That's
here.
right. 757 shout out.
What's up?
So I have a couple of questions. One, my husband is active duty military, and he recently got orders to Spain. So we will be leaving the States about this time next year. So we have quite a bit of money in savings, and we're trying to figure out the best way to do that, knowing that we're not going to be here. Do we do an investment property? Do we put it in mutual funds? Like, we're trying to figure out the best way to make our money work for us rather than it just sitting in a savings account.
Absolutely. I just put it in mutual funds.
Okay.
Sit down with a SmartVestor Pro. Go to RamseySolutions.com, click SmartVestor, get you a financial advisor that's got the heart of a teacher. Tell them what your goals are, and they can help you select some funds that, they can give you good rates of return. But even if you just invested it in a no-brain investment, which would be an S&P 500, as I was saying a little bit earlier, it's up 16% year over year. So, that's that kind. You want to park it there, not in 4% or 3% or whatever, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you wouldn't recommend doing even the smallest rental?
No. Long distance landlording from Spain is a good way to get in a mess.
That's kind of what we thought too. Yeah. It's just, like I said, and then we're so kind of give you a little bit of backstory, just a very brief one. We sold our house in Pensacola when we moved here.
Good.
Because renting didn't make sense there either.
Good.
So we have all of our debts paid off and everything like that. So like I said, we have about 120 sitting there.
Great.
Just kind of hanging out. So how much would you suggest? Because like I said, we have our retirement put away. We have everything pretty much taken care of.
Good.
And that segues me into my second question. We're scheduled to have our first child on Friday.
Yay!
So we want to start planning for his future. We don't know if, obviously it's very early, never too early, but yeah. I don't know how much we should start putting away.
What we teach folks to do is to put 15% of your income away for retirement. Start doing something Start doing something for kids' college.
Okay.
And make sure you have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. Do you have the emergency fund not counting this 120?
Yes,
okay.
We do.
All right. When you sit down with a SmartVestor Pro, if you want to take 10 and throw it into a 529 for the new baby, you have to get a Social Security number before you can do that. But that doesn't take that long. Okay. And but then you just open a 529 for the baby, throw $10,000 in. You're almost done for college if you do that.
Yeah.
Because 10 grand by the time they're 18 will grow to almost enough. But you'll add some in the years as you go along. And then you got 110 in there now. And then you're going to Spain. How much longer is he going to be in the military?
We're hoping for 20 or for 10 more years.
10 more years. Okay.
He's been in for 10, yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, if you're investing at an average of 10%, your lump sum will double every 7. So 7 years from now, 110 would be 220.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 7 years later, 220 would be 440.
Right.
So that's the kind of curve you're on with this if you don't add anything to it for purchasing the next property. But thank you for your service, both of you, and congratulations on the new baby. That's fun.
Yeah, and it's fun to see a story like this from our military men and women who have been so wise. I mean, they are in terrific financial shape, been very disciplined, and the fruits of it now, here they are, starting a family in really good shape.
Yeah, and the adventure continues. Here we go to Spain.
Yeah, right. Not a bad place to be stationed.
Yeah. Patrick's with us in Phoenix. Hi, Patrick. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I am 20 years old, and about 2 years ago, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona to start my own business selling furniture. I was straight out of high school and just super young, and I moved in with my aunt and uncle. So it's been 2 years later now. I saved about $40,000 in cash. I have another 30 grand in crypto, and I'm just wondering if it's a good time to move out.
Okay. How long have you been listening to us?
Probably 3 or 4 years now. I actually met you in person one time.
Okay. Well, are you going to take my advice this time? Because you didn't on the crypto.
Yeah, sure.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cash out the crypto. Move out. Get your life started.
Okay.
You got 70 grand. You're 20 years old. You're kicking butt.
Mm-hmm.
But get the money out of there while you still got it, because it's going to evaporate if you don't. And
okay.
Yeah, and then we're sitting on 70 grand, and you're obviously making some money. What kind of money are you making?
I'll probably do about 100 grand this year. Net.
Wow. What does selling furniture look like? What is that business model?
So I go around picking it up, clean it up, and then take really good pictures and sell it.
Give me an idea of a margin on something you've done recently, what you bought it for versus what you sold it for.
So recently I bought an outdoor sectional for $500. I pay someone $200 to fix it up for me. And then a couple days ago, I sold it for $2,650.
$700 in cost, and he flipped it for $2,600. Somebody's outdoor sectional that just probably needed to be scrubbed, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, where are you doing this work? Because you're living with your aunt and uncle. You're not doing it in their garage, are you?
No, so I actually just got 2 warehouse spaces.
I guess you did. Okay. Dude, you're a stud.
That is awesome.
I absolutely love that. You're
too.
A player.
Yeah.
You're a player. Well done. Well done. Yeah. In another hour, we read a question about what we thought about universal income, a stipend for people that won't work. And then you got a 20-year-old with a high school education that's making $100 grand flipping used furniture. And some of you are standing around with your finger in your ear. Unbelievable,
The American dream is alive and well.
What a country!
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. What a country!
Comrade Dave joins us again, folks.
Wow.
Yeah, great story.
Just, what a great guy. I love you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Sell the stupid crypto. Move out on your own. You get you a life. You're doing great. Proud of you. Well done. That is so great.
An outdoor sectional.
26. Yeah, $2,600 is cheap that's a good deal. And oh my gosh, that's great. Yeah, I can just see him driving along and something sitting on the curb. Somebody's throwing it out to say, "Can I have that?"
Yeah,
and put the leg back on it. And
this is an example, by the way, of what it means to live in a very wealthy country. People are throwing away essentially a nice sectional. He turns around and makes really good cash on it. He's taking what other people are thinking it's trash, or they're moving on to the next thing. I got to finance my outdoor section to get something new. He's making real money. It's a really interesting commentary on where we are at in America today, but the opportunity to make something of yourself is still there.
And you know what else I think about when I hear somebody like Patrick show up? His mom and dad did a great job.
They did. That's right.
They taught him to work.
Yeah.
They taught him how to work a margin. You know, somebody did. I mean, you're not born with that.
No.
You know?
No.
You know, I've been to the hospital. They always say, you know, it's a boy, it's a girl. They don't say it's an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
so somebody taught him that, you know. That you know, wow.
Here's something else too. This is a special young man, but a lot of culture and society would look down on him because he didn't go to college. He's laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, he's you know,
2 warehouses.
I have $250,000 and I got a master's degree in social work and I make $38,000 at the state.
Right.
And I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Yeah, that's his contemporary. Oh my gosh. This is the Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Open phones this hour. Ken Coleman, host of The Ken Coleman Show, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Paycheck to Purpose, talking about careers, jobs, and how you make money with your life. He is my co-host today. So you got questions about that, jump in. Again, the phone number, 888-825-5225. Speaking of Ramsey personalities, student loans are happening. Student loan problems are happening. Your student loan, you're going to start paying on it again shortly. I hope you're ready. So Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personalities, hosting a student loan webinar. Limited space, totally free. So she's going to talk to you about how to get ready for starting back up and all the issues around the whole student loan crisis, debacle, epic failure, whatever adjective you want to use for it. She'll help you with it. Jade Warshaw, totally free. There's just a handful of slots left for this free webinar. Go to fpu.com/student loan. And it's a free webinar with Jade Warshaw on student loans. fpu.com/student loan. Yesenia is next in Lubbock, Texas, kicking off this hour. Hi, Yesenia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dave?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
So my husband has decided that we should move up to Oregon because he believes the cost of living is lower and we'd be able to get a better start. We currently do not have credit on a home or anything like that, so we've been renting for the past 3 years. And so we're looking to buy a fixer-upper home that my in-laws would help us get and then, start paying off and such. And it's about $40K, and then to remodel and such, we'd invest about $60 possibly. And currently we owe about $10 in student loans, and we have $3,000 in savings that we could use. So considering we'd be moving about 1,500 miles away, we may need that to use to move away, or we may, so paying off our student loans right now, I'm not sure if that would be the wisest decision. And then we also have about $30,000 in our car loan.
Good Lord.
That we just took out.
There's a lot going on in this call.
What's your household income?
It's about 40 to 60K a year, but my husband has potential to make more because he has his CDL for trucking.
And his family is in Oregon?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you're
the thought
asking
is
me
that
what?
So what would you recommend? Do you think it would be a wise thing to move in this current situation that we're in and with our savings?
Nope. You guys aren't going to like me, and you're probably not going to do what I tell you to do, but you're going to wish you did. You don't need to buy a fixer-upper when you're broke people. It's going to cause you problems. He's got this dream in his head that if he can just get closer to family, this is all going to work out. Cost of living in Oregon and Lubbock, Texas is not any different. That's absolute BS. You don't live in a high cost of living area, darling. He found his daddy or his mama found a fixer-upper, and he's got the bug to move back home. That's how all this is going. Well, and he's dreaming all this up while he's driving truck. He's sitting there thinking about it all day while he's grinding gears. So, no, I got to tell you, please don't do this. It's going to be a mess. And so what would I do if I were in your shoes? I'd work like 6 jobs. I'd sell that stupid car you just bought, get you a car you can afford. That's absolutely ridiculous purchase. And then I'd get those debts paid off. And once the debts were paid off, I'd pile up some money. And then if you want to make a move and pay cash for the little fixer-upper, or go up there and rent until you can pay cash for the little fixer-upper.
Right.
But there is no cost of living move from Lubbock to Oregon. Nah.
How long have you been? Are you working, and how long has he been driving the truck with the CDL? What's going on there?
He's been trucking about a year, and I have my degree in biology, so I could use that to teach or to continue my education. The goal is to go and be an EMT for the meantime, so that I'm generating income. And then if I want to go back to medical,
when are you doing that?
EMT would be in January.
Why?
Just
this is July.
Kind of when the program would start.
What are you going to do between now and then?
Or I can look to start in September.
That's what I'd be doing. You got to be working. You guys can knock this out. $10,000 in student loan debt. You can knock that out quickly. What's the car worth?
The car, I think it's worth about what we paid. I think it was worth like $2,000 to $3,000 more than what we paid.
Yeah.
Get out of that now.
Please get out of that. That was a huge mistake. Does that not just have red lights on top of it flashing at you going, error, error, error?
Definitely had lost a lot of sleep over the debt for sure.
Yeah. And then we just added a big old pile to it just for the fun of it because we wanted to go buy a car. So we need to slow down and develop step-by-step plans to clear debt, build cash, then move, then build cash before we buy. Okay.
Right. So you think it'd be a very foolish decision to move across the country?
I'm 100% sure it would be very
relying
foolish.
On our in-laws.
I'm 100% sure it'd be very foolish for you to move across the country the way you just described it to me. Absolutely.
I kind of thought it was a bit far-fetched, but there are plenty of really good job opportunities down here. My husband would just not be home at all. So that's kind of why I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past year and a half. And also because of the cost of childcare for me to be a biology teacher, which is all I have right now.
So what's keeping him? What's keeping him from getting that better job? Just that it's not ideal for the family?
I think so, but I really pray he would just have the wisdom to take that step. I've tried telling him that that's what husbands have to do. It's the next step for them to be providing and taking care of the family, and it's not always comfortable. I would love for him to be home, but that's not where we're at financially or with, starting out our new lives. And
well, what if it's a season?
Get a home.
Yeah,
what if it's a season?
For a period of time. If it takes you guys, sell the car, if it takes you guys a year to get your finances straightened up so you can move, then all of you go to work and let's get moving.
That's right.
Everybody pays a price and let's get this moving and then head off to Oregon. I'm not mad at Oregon. Yeah. Okay, you can go. But, he's got this all dreamed up that he's going to, what we have is a mess, and then let's go ahead and buy a house that's a mess and add a mess to a mess. That's just, you're signing up for terror. No, thank you.
The harder he works, Yesenia, the faster you get to Oregon. That would be the vision I would try to cast with him.
Yeah, right after we sold the car.
Oh, yeah.
Did I mention you need to sell that car? I hope I was clear about that. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
Thank you for joining us, America. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. We appreciate you being with us. Sam is in St. Paul, Minnesota. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Good, gentlemen. Thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for taking my call.
Certainly. How can we help?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a generic question here in terms of negotiating salary for a promotion internal to my own company. Basically, they created a new position for me to move up to a managerial role. And instead of talking directly to my boss off the bat, now I'm being asked to talk to an HR representative that's asking what my preferred salary would be. They have a posted range, which is good, but I'm kind of curious if you have any suggestions on how you approach that with the folks that you've been working with for a long time and will continue to work with and for going forward. To maximize my salary and also keep relationships good and positive.
So, what's the range?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, so I currently make 120. The new range is 135 to 175. Posted publicly. And I exceed all the criteria because the job description was basically my resume cut and pasted and put on a job board.
This is corporate America. Okay.
How long you been with them?
Yeah. 4 years.
Mm-hmm. There's no particular formula for this answer. What I would do, I'm interested to know what Dave. I want Dave to come at this from the CEO, the leader side. I'll come at it from what I hear and what I read out there in the marketplace. But looking at this range, this is going to come down to what I believe is the gut test. If you believe that you can say, I believe based on my experience, my skill set, you got to look at the open market too, not just the way that this job is posted. You got to go out there and do your homework, and you can do it, and you can find out, okay, based on my skill set and experience, do I feel like out in the marketplace that I could command the 175? Let's call that's the top end of this deal. Then the gut needs to reveal that. If you've got that and you feel like you can say, hey, I think I can command this. I think if I look at the market, I'd like to see it at the high end. But you're not demanding it. You're answering their question. If they've asked you from an HR perspective, what would you like to make? You can say, I'd like to make this. And it's based on skill, experience, matching up in the marketplace, that I'm at the high end of this range. But if you can't validate that, I would never ask for it, because I just think that it's never going to end well, because I'm assuming they've done their homework and they know where you fit in the range as well. That'd be my answer and how I would handle it personally.
I normally would until they used your resume to cut and paste the job post.
That is the X factor.
Yeah. And so in this case, are you going to be in person, Sam, with the HR person?
No, they're in a different state than our location.
So this is by email or something?
This was just an email with about 5 questions in it, and that's the first time salaries come up.
Okay.
And so I guess
I don't know. I mean, this environment sounds very formal to me. So I don't know that my response will work, but my tendency would be to put like a bunch of smiley faces and go, "Hey guys, let's be real. This job posting is my resume reposted, which means you guys intend to do 175, and I'll be happy with that."
Yeah, I like that.
With some smiley faces and just because that's exactly what they did. And just saying it out loud and going, that's my justification for 175, because that's what y'all think it's worth. Thank you. And we appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Wink, wink, smile, smile, whatever. I don't know.
Well, what's your insight?
Cool man sunglasses. I don't know. I mean, whatever emoji you want to use there. But I would try to lighten this up a little bit and just say out loud what's really going on, because I think that's your best leverage to get the 175, and I'd go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think? I
mean,
so I have
unless these guys are such tight butts that they're going to get all twisted up because you tried to have a joke about it. I mean, my God.
But yeah, you've got a little bit of trepidation, anxiety on you.
For real.
What's it coming from? What are you worried about?
Well, I mean, I'm relatively, young, and not that matters. I like you said, I check the boxes that they're looking for. But I'm wondering if you'd ever, so the direct hire manager is my current manager, and we have a wonderful open relationship and very, open and honest, and that's how it's been over the past, 4 years ever since I came on board.
Right. Are you still going to be working for him?
Yes.
Well, just call him, get him on the phone. Call him, get him on the phone, tell him what I said, and say, if I put that on this HR form, is that going to be okay? Would you mentor me and tell me what to do?
Yeah. Okay.
It is insight. Here's the other thing. There's a difference between asking and demanding.
Yeah.
They gave you the range.
They asked you your opinion.
Yeah. So say, I want the 175.
I'm just happy to be here, but it looks to me like you guys used my resume for this job posting, and I thank you for that, and I'm excited about this role, and 175 would just be awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And see, ask your mentor if your upline, if he thinks that's gonna cause you to be a jerk. You don't want to look like a jerk. We're not trying to be sarcastic or crazy or something, but I mean, it's just kind of like calling out what's really going on, and that takes all the smoke and mirrors, all the pressure out of the room. It lets the air out of the balloon, you know?
He's in a situation where he can do the calculated ask, which is what I was walking through, versus a crazy ask. This is not a crazy ask to ask for the 175. So they can always come back at you with something. But I tell you this, if you say 155, if they're going to come back with something, they've already lowered it. So that's why I go high.
Well, they're not going to go.
I don't think so either.
We think 175.
Right.
So I'm going to ask for it for sure. I just got to figure out how I'm going to ask for it.
That's right.
But I'm going for the whole puppy in this case, no question about it. Man, why is communication so hard in companies? It's just people, man. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Tom is in D.C. Hey, Tom, welcome to the Ramsey Show. What's up?
Yes, hello. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Just a little background. I'm very familiar with your stuff. I actually used to teach it.
Thank you.
So I kind of know the answers you're going to tell me, but maybe I have a little bit of different dynamic, maybe. So I'm just calling for clarification. So long story short, I inherited some money from my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I am the sole. I'm the sole heir to all this, and I've done all the legwork and have the proper paperwork and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, there is about $380,000 in total.
Mm-hmm.
Half will be from sale of house, half will be 401ks and a little bit of life insurance and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is twofold. One is, I'm being told that these 401ks, I will be taxed on them because I was never labeled as a beneficiary properly within the 401k.
Even if you were, there would be an income tax on them. Yeah. It's not an inheritance tax, it's an income tax, but yeah.
So it'll throw me in a different tax bracket, correct?
Not that. I mean, your tax, it's an inherited 401k, whether you're the beneficiary or not, and you have to clear it in 10 years. So you don't have to do it all at once, but you got to do a tenth a year.
A tenth a year.
Yeah.
Got it.
How much is in the 401k?
Probably about $195 all said between two of them.
Okay. All right. And so if your tax is $50K, I'd be tempted to just cash out enough of it, just cash it out and pay the $50K and not worry about it.
And just be done. Yeah. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I'd screw around with it. It's not that much, and you've got the liquidity to do it. I'd sit down with your tax professional, make sure that calculation is accurate and withhold that much, and then just roll it into wherever you are in your baby steps. But very well. That puts you in a great situation. I'm sorry for your you lost your brother, man. That's sad. But you just plow your way through the details, which is what you're doing. So very well played. This is the Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host this hour. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. If you haven't heard, we will be in Chicago doing the SMART conference, and we is all the Ramsey personalities. Me, Rachel, Dr. John Deloney, Jade Warshaw, George Camel, and Ken Coleman, all day long. We'll be there September 15 and 16. The platinum tickets are all sold out, but there are some general admissions left at $99 if you want to be there in Chicago. Chicago's a cool trip, too. Come on up, hang out with us. Especially if you're in the Chicagoland area, you can get your tickets at Live Events tab at RamseySolutions.com. We'd love to have you. On the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, Ryan and Kate are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Welcome. Where do y'all live?
Denver, Colorado.
Oh, welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you paid off?
We paid off $70,000 in 34 months.
Yay! And your range of income during that time?
Range of income was anywhere from $35,000 to $67,000.
Very cool. Very cool. And what kind of debt was the 70?
It was all me. So it was mainly credit card debt and a bunch of student loan debt.
Okay. All right. How much of the 70 was student loans?
About 55.
Yes.
Okay. And 15 in credit cards. Okay. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. All right. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a physical therapist assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in franchise development.
All right. Very good. So 34 months, 70 grand, and it's all Ryan's fault. We've established that.
Yep.
So tell me the story. How'd you guys get plugged into Ramsey and decide to pay off your debt and do it in 3 years?
Well, I met my wife in college at Texas Tech, and we ended up meeting in the marching band. She was plugged into FPU through her family, and we ended up doing it because of that. I saw you on the Fox Business Channel, so I ended up really being plugged in and listening to what she wanted me to do. So it worked out really well.
But I have been well indoctrinated into the system. So my parents actually took FPU about mid-2000s, so I'm a Dave Ramsey kid. I have had the envelope system since I was 8.
Now, we prefer to call them financial peace kids. You're your parents' kid. Okay, yeah. All right. Well done, y'all. Great job. Very cool. Congratulations. So, yeah, you come in all indoctrinated. That's a pretty strong cult-like word, but okay, yeah, all right, good. Yep. And Ryan says, okay, he's on Fox Business, so we're going to do it.
Right. I like that. Yeah. And here's what I like. You said I pretty much listened to her and did what she wanted me to do. This was a guy who knows the secret to a happy marriage. So you got on board pretty quickly. But the question is what did you do to get going? Were you gazelle right out of the gate, or did you kind of get along slowly in it? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, so we started actually in May of 2020, about 2 months before we got married. So we decided to have those conversations to get that transition going before all the ink was dried on our certificate.
Nice.
And even though with COVID going on and everything and the chaos of the world, we really just decided that we were going to do it regardless of what was happening.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. So that's really what happened. And our dead snowball started off really small, but we just kept pushing and kept going.
Okay.
What'd you do to make the income go up?
So we originally started as a condominium front desk person and a server, working every hour that we could. And then about a year into it, I upgraded jobs that doubled our income.
Nice.
So that really, really helped.
Yeah, really.
Helped me get through school as well.
Yeah, we actually 6 months into our journey, my husband got into his last round of schooling, and we had a moment of, I don't know how we're going to do this without getting another loan. I don't know. And we had to sacrifice a very generous wedding present that we received to kickstart the school savings and to pay.
Wow, what was it? Can you tell us?
It was a gift. And it was about $10,000. It was really generous, and we wanted to use it for the beginning of a down payment of a house, but sacrifices had to be made.
Well, but you did, because the way you get the down payment for the house is he now has a better income because he got the degree. Yeah,
exactly.
So, there you go. I mean, PT, you're gonna be okay there.
Yeah,
good stuff. Well done. But that's a hard decision.
Yeah, it hurt for sure.
And the good news is you were actually thinking about it, both of you. Now, did you argue about that?
No, not too much.
Honestly, we didn't argue about the bigger stuff. We argued about the $30 here and there that were unplanned.
So
I'm the free spirit. She's the nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went and spent $30 on something and almost lost your life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You can tell there's a little bit of trauma there on her face when she mentions the little $30 here.
Kill him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. Yeah. $10,000 and then he goes and does that. Yeah. I love it. That's fun. That's good. You guys are great. That's exactly how it works, though. I mean, you got to be talking about it. You got to be talking through the conflict. You got to cry about the sacrifice a little bit, and it hurts. And you got to. This is how this whole thing works, because the people that avoid all of that are the ones that just go do whatever the flip they want to do, and then they spend the rest of their life paying the man. And so you guys were very mature. You're looking long. Every one of your decisions were long-term thinking.
Yes.
Not short-term thinking.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing. Well beyond your years. Very, very, very well done. So, Ryan, I'm pretty sure your father and mother-in-law were pretty happy.
They are. Yes, sir. They are.
Okay. Well, who else was cheering you guys on outside the two of you?
Oh, we had an amazing support system. We were supported on all sides, all family members on both sides and friends. We talked to coworkers about it. We talked to anybody and anybody who would listen. Anybody and everybody. So we're very thankful. So quick shout out to the McNeely, McCullough, and the Askew Brooks family, because it was so helpful and we are so grateful.
Yeah. Any haters in the group?
Not really. Most people were happy, but some people were confused but happy at the same time. They're like, I don't know why you're doing
weird.
it, but okay.
Yeah,
they got married, they got weird. Yeah.
Always a couple haters.
Yeah, there's always somebody. That's okay. That's part of the program. Those motivate me sometimes more than the encouragers. So, yeah, good for you guys. Well done. Very well done. All right, now that you're professionals, you've paid off in 34 months with great sacrifice, $70,000 straight out of school, straight into marriage, straight into this debt snowball stuff. What's the key to getting out of debt? When somebody's listening, they're watching you right now. You actually did it. It's not theory.
So for me as the free spirit, it's impulse control and having discipline, learning that discipline, and also trusting your partner. And for you?
And since I'm a huge nerd, so I'm always going to say budget. It was our main tool, our main weapon against it, and we really... Oh, I love budgets. I could talk about them all day. But then also having a reason why that's big enough. I had a few reasons why, but they vary day to day which one was bigger than the lack of motivation, I guess.
Yeah, that's very good. I like that word weapon on budgets. I might use that. It's a weapon against financial stupidity. Yeah, that's good. I like it. The Destroyer. It's good. We may have a cartoon before this is over.
I see a lightsaber in your future.
I'm thinking Conan, Yeah, this is good. Yeah, very good. Well done. Very good stuff. Hey, we've got the Live and Give box for you, the Baby Steps Millionaires book, which is for sure you're well on your way to that. The Financial Peace University, which started the whole thing for your parents, and now you can go through it as a young couple, or you can give it away if you've already been through it. That's fine. Whatever. It's the Live and Give. That's the whole idea. Total Money Makeover book. You've been doing that, so you'll give that one away to somebody, I'm sure, and be an encouragement to somebody. You guys pay it forward. Very, very well done. Sharp young couple. You guys are very cool. Heroes.
Thank you.
Heroes. I'm proud of you. Very good stuff. Ryan and Kate, Denver, Colorado. $70,000 paid off in 34 months, making $35,000 to $67,000 a year. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! That's how that's done. I love it. Very cool. Very cool. We are seeing the generational effect now.
Yep.
More and more and more. Even some third generations, but a lot of financial peace babies out there. Yeah. Be careful how we name those.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Financial peace babies out there, and very cool. Very cool. Very neat. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Ephesians 4:22 and 24. Put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. Andy Warhol said, they always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. That's true. Time doesn't change squat.
That's right.
Except wrinkles. But yeah, other than that, oh my gosh. All right, Xander's with us in Norfolk, Virginia. Hi, Xander. How are you?
Hey, Dave. I'm good. How about you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, I just have a quick question. I'm 22, married, and in the Navy out here in Norfolk. And my mother-in-law, she lives out in Wisconsin. I met her daughter when I was up there for basic training. She's a very sweet Christian lady who never has any bad intentions, but her situation is she's disabled from a car accident a couple of years ago. Somebody hit her in a crosswalk. And I love her, and my wife loves her, obviously, but we're afraid that she's going to end up living with us eventually. And we just don't want family members living with us, period. Not specifically her. But I don't know. I don't think she has retirement because she just did like housekeeping jobs before that. And she was a stay-at-home mom for a little bit. But I don't know what to do from here. And I don't know how to talk to her about it because she's very sensitive when it comes to things like this.
Where's Dad?
Not in the picture. He's just in Arizona somewhere.
Oh, so they're divorced?
Yeah.
Okay. For how long?
Quite a few years since my wife was a preteen.
Okay. Okay. All right. And you guys have just gotten married recently?
Yeah, within the last year.
Yeah.
We're hitting our 1 year in a month.
Congratulations. And thank you for serving your country. And I appreciate the sense of love and the sense of responsibility you have towards her. You're not in a place you can talk to her about it. She can't discuss this with you. You haven't been here long enough. And it doesn't matter how smart you are or how good your intentions are. To speak into people's money is a very personal thing, and it requires a pretty in-depth relationship. And so I think you don't worry about it right now. Do you have any idea how okay, she's disabled, you said, permanently?
Yeah, she lives on disability right now. She lives with her mom and dad.
Okay, so how much does she make in disability? You have any idea? Couple of grand a month, probably, right? I mean, she's getting SSI from the government. Is she getting any other disability? Was there any settlement on the car wreck?
There was a settlement, but she's working with somebody to renew her health insurance right now, and they said that she had to spend half of it because she couldn't have a certain amount for the health insurance, and she only makes about $900 a month.
She had to spend half of the... Okay, she needs different advice on the health insurance.
That's what I tried to tell her, but she said that the lady works with the Social Security or whatever.
That for sure she needs somebody different. I mean, let's ask the IRS about our taxes. Well, that's a dumb butt idea, you know? And that's what she's doing. She's talking to Social Security about everything. Now, you don't need to get your financial advice from the Social Security office. They're not that bright. So, no, she needs to get outside of this and get some other information. Your daughter is going to have to talk. Your daughter. Her daughter is going to have to talk to her. She's not going to listen to you, man. You've not been on the game long enough.
What should my wife say to her about?
She needs to get some outside advice, because when people start saying you have to dumb down your money in order to simply get health insurance, you need different advice.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there any programs?
So she didn't get a lump sum settlement. She got a monthly.
No, the monthly is the disability she gets. It's about $900, and then it was a lump sum of like 10 or 20,000. It wasn't a lot.
No, it wasn't.
What happened?
Okay, her disability ought to be more than $900 coming from Social Security.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I don't know that much about the situation because I don't like to pry on personal stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's not personal. It's just I think the government. I think there's something missing here, because it would normally be more in the $2K range. So, and she's living with her parents?
She's living with her parents, and that's what worries me, is that when her parents move in with my wife's aunt, then I don't know what happens to her.
Yeah.
And she's trying to move out here to Wisconsin, but she keeps hitting roadblocks with government housing and whatnot. She can't afford anything here.
What is the nature of her disability? What is her permanent disability? What happened to her?
She can't stand for very long. She can't move around very fast. I think that's all I know of.
Okay, but her mind is working fine. So, Ken, how old is the lady?
She's in her mid-40s.
Okay. There's an old book called "What Color Is My Parachute?"
Yeah. And are you talking about the 4 types of what we were talking about the other day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what we have to do is we got to figure out what her long-term prognosis is. If that's the long-term prognosis, then she's going to have to do work that is probably remote in nature, and it's going to be computer and phone work, or she can use her mind. And
not working is not an option for her.
Yeah, she has to work. So the question is she good at people work? Is she good at ideas work? Is she good at process work? Those are 3 of the 4 types of work. She's not going to be able to work with things and be physical. And so if you can help her ideate, and we'll give you at the end of this call, I want to give you the Get Clear career assessment, which I want her to take. And this will create a very natural and fun conversation with her daughter, your wife, as we look to what are some jobs that she can do that will allow her to make some money to A, dig out, B, sustain herself long term, because she can still do work. And there's plenty of remote work for that type of, again, customer service work, could be administrative in nature. So we got to figure out what she's good at and what she enjoys.
So if I'm your wife, I'm your wife, I'm saying, hey, Mom, you're going to live another 40 years.
Yeah.
If I'm you, I don't want to live 40 years on the government.
Yeah.
It's not enough, and I don't want to live 40 years in government housing. I want a better life than that. And so if I'm you, I'm going to start thinking about how I can make some money. Stack some cash, Mom. I mean, I want you to go get a career that you can do around the particular challenges that you've got.
Yeah.
But the book, What Colored My Parachute, is about all the people that, in spite of supposed disabilities, go out and make incredible incomes.
Yeah.
And because they don't say, all right, I'm going to live on $900 a month. I mean, I don't want to live in poverty for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find something to do. I mean, I'm going to paint something with my teeth. I mean, I'm going to do something. My gosh.
How do you feel about the daughter saying to the mom in a loving and respectful way, hey, we've got a boundary here we need to make you aware of. We don't want anybody living with us, and I just want to get that out there.
I wouldn't do that. They've been married just a minute.
Yeah, so too soon is the
they're
answer.
both worried. They both are hyper worried early in this marriage. So, I mean, if they've been married 5 years and it's going on, maybe. But and if you're not careful, Xander's going to get blamed for this.
That is true.
And he's going to be the evil step. Yeah. He's going to be the evil right. son-in-law. Everything was good till he come along. I had everything figured out, and then he come along.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. No, but you need your wife needs to talk to her mom and say, Mom, I love you too much to watch you live in poverty for 40 years. We got to work on your career. And I got this assessment from Ken Coleman, and he'll help you. And he will do just that. So hang on, we'll get that out to you. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Ken. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.